Hi there, my friend. This is Transforming the World, and my name is Pastor Greg. If you have your Discipleship Journals workbook there in front of you, I want to examine question number 15. It's an interesting question. I think it's an important question that helps us determine the weight of purity in our world today. And question number 15 asks this: am I convinced that personal purity is possible in our society? I'll be honest, from my perspective, purity of deed and thought seem very archaic in our world. I can't tell you the last time the biblical concept of purity was demonstrated in television or film. I mean, I don't watch, there are a lot of movies I don't watch simply because I'm very careful what I fill my mind with. But in the movies that I do watch, even your regular run-of-the-mill tame movie, like what the world would call a tame movie today, I see very few examples of purity demonstrated in film. One of the last ones that I can think of, this one comes to mind, but this is from a long time ago. I'm dating myself here too, but if you recall the movie called The Horse Whisperer with Robert Redford, the particular scene there, Robert Redford's character was getting too close to a married woman. There was a married woman there who was very drawn to Robert Redford's character, and you could see the tension building between them, the relational tension, the sexual attraction there. And I was surprised by this, but I was very happy with this. Robert Redford looks at this woman, and rather than giving in to, the world would say, just give in to it, Robert Redford says, your husband's a good man. And he walks away. And it was a really good scene for me. And it was one of those scenes that really made me appreciate the movie, because here, for the first time in a long time, I saw a guy choose purity over passion or over pleasure. I really appreciated that. All Christians are called to practice purity by honoring the Lord with their bodies and minds, as I stressed yesterday. For unmarried people, chastity includes celibacy. And for married people, chastity includes, for married people, chastity means remaining faithful to your spouse. Christians who battle same-sex attraction practice chastity or purity by remaining celibate for life, trusting that the lover of their souls will satisfy even their deepest longings. Limiting exposure to sexual exploitive images and situations promotes purity. Let me just say that again. If you can limit your exposure to sexual images or sexually suggestive books or magazines or wherever it comes from, if you can limit your exposure to that, your struggle to remain pure will be a whole lot easier, because you're not filling your mind with certain things. One of the ways to help keep ourselves pure is to spend a lot of time in worship, a lot of time in prayer, devotions, meditation on Scripture, kind of like what we're doing here. They help our minds remain pure, as according to Paul, 2 Corinthians 10:5, we take every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. Now, as I said, this whole idea of purity or chastity is quickly vanishing from the world's value system. It remains part of God's. God searches the hearts and minds of every person, seeking those whose hearts are wholly His, that He might show Himself strong on their behalf. Jeremiah 17:10, great passage on that. The Creator of our bodies and our souls is not fooled by our outward displays of purity designed to impress onlookers. He seeks those who long to be pure in heart. Again, Matthew 5:8. When purity is our goal in every area of life, the Lord demonstrates, strengthens, and rewards us with power to overcome sin and enjoy more of his presence. As I said earlier on, when our lives are contaminated with sin, when we are impure or unholy, it limits our relationship with the Father. And it has to be addressed. The sin, the impurity, the contamination in our lives has to be addressed in some way, shape, or form. And, of course, as I said, that's addressed by the work of Jesus Christ. You and I cannot follow the world's standards and find purity. Every day, the world seems to dismantle another pillar of purity. It does. Question number 9 asks this question: do I use God's standard for purity? And I suggest to you, my friend, that we must, because it's the only standard that does not change. You are being fed a diet by this world that is luring you to become unholy. It's luring you to let go of your purity, to defile your holiness, and break that close relationship that you have with God. The world is tempting you to break your relationship with the Father by becoming impure. It puts suggestions in your mind. It throws images at you daily, constantly. And the thought of chastity or purity is a foreign concept in our world today. My friend, be very, very careful what you permit into your life, which is a topic I want to talk about tomorrow. You've been watching Transforming the World. We're talking about purity, and my name is Pastor Greg. I hope to see you tomorrow.